Chinese government gave a lot of money, free scholarships, to the people from Africa, from poor countries. I've been to Mongolia 5 years in a row, and almost 80% of the people I met, they are educated in China since high school. I say, why? They say, oh, our parents are poor, so we get a free scholarship to China, and not only we don't need to pay for the school, we also get money for apartment, for food, and a very good deal. So many of them, after high school, they will continue to universities and then continue to master degrees. So I asked some of the students who work for the think tanks, for free market think tanks or libertarian think tanks, and she said, oh, in the fall, I'm going to China to get my master's degree. I said, what are you studying? They said, political science. I said, are you kidding me? You're going to China to study political science? You are a libertarian in Mongolia. She said, oh, I know, but it's free. I get money to do so. And there's an outcry in China among Chinese students because it's very difficult to enter university. They have to prepare, their parents prepare them when they were born to take examinations. And they pay a lot of money to go to very nice schools and get tutors just for one goal to enter university. But those foreigners, not only they don't have to be qualified, also, they get paid. They have a special dormitory for them, special cafeteria for them. And a lot of them, they're not really studying. They go to China and they get Chinese girls and do some bad things. And recent years, they have a very bad reputation. Those foreign students. Just last week, I was in I don't remember, Budapest or Prague. Oh, Budapest. I met this young man, just got finished his study from China. And he was telling me, he said, I knew we were hated in China. And he went to the most prestigious university in China, Beijing University, Peking University it's called. And he said, the school was demolishing something very historical, and just in order to build a new fancy dormitory for foreign students. And the Chinese students was protesting and to make the foreign students really feel bad. But when I was in China in late 1970s and 1980s, I remember in my university there are a lot of students from Africa, from Zimbabwe, Tanzania, those Eastern Europe, African countries. And they train them, and so implant the communist ideology in their head. Because when they get the high degree in China, when they went home, they usually get a government job, and they move very fast into a higher position. They became a decision maker, policy makers in their countries. So they will be pro-China, they will follow the way of Chinese government, train them to think. Their Chinese government very strategically chose countries. They don't want people from countries that are independent thinkers, independently minded people, and they also aim at the young people. They might be future leaders in their country. So they will make favorable decisions for China. So it's a long-term plan for the Chinese government. They spend a lot of money. On the other hand, a lot of independent students in China, they go to United States or Western countries to study. Some of them, like me, I went to United States as a graduate student. I didn't want to go back to China. But there's maybe half of those Chinese students like me, but now more and more Chinese government send those spy students, we call, to all the United States universities. and they established Chinese Communist group in United States, in the universities in United States. And recently I saw a photo of one communist club established in one of the California universities. The group picture have almost 40 people there. It just shocked me. And those very, very young Chinese kids, even they're in the United States, they still want to hold on to the communist ideology, and they spy on other Chinese students who are not government sent, and a lot of them paid by the Chinese government. And their job is just to spy on all other Chinese students. And one time I was invited to give a lecture at in University of Hawaii in the master degree, MBA degree of business ethic class. So I went there to tell my story growing up in China under the communists during the Cultural Revolution. And there were 4 Chinese students in the classroom. After I talked, they were so furious. They jumped and yelled at me and say, "Why are you saying all these? Damage the Chinese image." I said, "I didn't say anything that's not true. It's my life. I lived through it. I'm just telling my story." They say, "Well, but you shouldn't say that. Every country has a dark history. There's a Hitler." I said, "What does that have to do with me telling my story about China?" And so this kind of situation happens a lot. The Chinese students, we call them pink, little pinky. They're pink color. So they help Chinese government get onto Western social media, such as Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, because in China it's hard. So they have a double agent job outside of China to monitor other Chinese people's activities and voices on these Western social medias.